Yes, we are doing Jon Hopkins today. Fucking Singularity, mate. Now, this bloke, Jon Hopkins, I must admit, I get him a little confused with Tim Hecker on my more hungover days, but there is no justice in maligning him as just another bog standard electronic artist in a long list of others, because he has successfully fucking explored his own niche in this progressive micro house subgenre, showcasing a mastery over compositional rigor, boys, and selecting mutually tonal synth textural elements to bring the whole album listening experience together in one cohesive package. And this album, Singularity, is markedly more meditative, bubbly, and science fiction in tone than its nocturnal, more euphoric sister Immunity, yet they both share that cinematic edge where each song feels like a scene unwinding, and just how those layers progress into emotive climaxes. This is not much more obvious than in the very beginning of the album, in the first minute of Singularity, where it almost feels like the textures could have been used in a flying sequence of Dunkirk, with, one of them being very close to a Spitfire engine motif, whilst the eerie ambience still maintains that Hans Zimmer presence, yet also incorporating MIDI elements, which sound like they could have just been used in a new Mass Effect game or something. The progression in Everything Connected as well has Hans Zimmer influence sparsely scattered throughout in the tone of the wintry, shrill, alternating synths in the background. They almost feel and act like post-rock tremolo pick guitar leads. And it's no coincidence either that you can draw comparisons to various soundtracks while listening to this record, because compositionally it's written seemingly in two acts with disparate wholes, which is supposed to mirror an acid trip. The first half being colored with bassy, angular micro house beats, and then the second being much more ambient and ocular and piano driven. So what I do find most engaging on this record is the first half and how those beats provide a presence, a drive, so that when they are unfurling into more complex progressions, the music barely ever feels lost in its own ambiguity or ephemeral indulgence that so many other electronic artists can fall prey to, including himself on this record. And Hopkins showcases his skill at developing these beats from seemingly untenable motifs, most notably in the aptly named song Neon Pattern Drum, which starts off with a hemmed-in sort of transmission cut synth whirling over a grainy background that then develops into the most catchy rhythms of the album. It really is one of the best evolutions here, despite the two abrupt beat changes. And whilst I appreciate that this record is intentionally crafted to have that droning atmospheric vibe, especially in the second half, I would have felt more involved at least if a few more vocal samples were used, or if the textures were more dynamic. Because at least for me personally, there's only so much I can take of the same gradual, minimalistic meandering of angular synths I can take in one sitting before I start to feel a lack of progressions. To be fair, some vocals are used in the midpoint of this album in Emerald Rush, and more noticeably in Feel First Life, where they soar and ring in a suitably ethereal, almost elvish, Lord of the Rings sounding key. Yet that song feels more like an interlude or an exposition on the first realization of life than it does a weighted composition containing catchy or infectious motifs, which is what I'm really searching for in the latter stages of this record, most especially in songs like Cosm and Echo Dissolve, both of which just sort of meander and get lost in their own vague opacity, boys. And though Luminous Beings unwinds so organically and contains some fascinating moments with bubbly beats, it feels overlong at 11 minutes and without any real climax to wrap your ears around. Recovery at least has more of an excuse, being the post-mortem of the acid trip, seemingly an apt moment of introspection. Yet again, the weightless texturing and lack of dynamic bassy elements just leaves me feel like I've been blueballed. I should reiterate as well that the concept of this record makes much more sense without discernibly human samples, and I understand that other people might be more drawn into the weightless ambience of the second half, but I myself require more drive, more bass, even if it's just some more simple samples to keep my ears reeled in. Just more bass, more beats, get the beats flowing, boys. Woo, 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 woo. I therefore find it difficult to fall in love with this album, despite how much I enjoy the more deep, housey, combustible first half with those amazing progressions and fun, hypnotic beats to lose myself in. I also appreciate that with this style of IDM, I guess it's almost unreasonable to criticize it for not being able to grab your attention all the way through, yet albums like the newest Against New Logics exist in a subgenre and stylization not too dissimilar from this, which succeeds outright in creating exactly the soundscapes I want. And he himself shows me it's possible, and just how airtight the first half is here, and just how gorgeous the soundscapes are when he's patterning them in those danceable rhythms, and I just get lost. I suppose it's a matter of taste at the end of the day, but I do feel like some potential was lost in Cosm and Echo Dissolve amongst other tracks, so I'll just chuck this a cheeky 3.8 because I still enjoy it a fuck ton for what it is. And Too Easy, lads, I'll just fucking catch you later. That simple. Easy review, boys. Too easy, fucking no worries. I'll just catch you fucking later, boys. Alright, yeah, appreciate new subscribers, fucking whatever. Just have a good day, mate. And likes and comments, feedback is always good, fucking whatever. And yeah, Too Easy, catch ya.